I was scrolling through Twitter the other day when I saw this tweet by Puns. I'm going to convince Dream that when the Caves and Cliffs update comes out, that we reset the seed and start Dream SMP Season 2. To which Dream responded on his alt, "There's already plans related to that, but it's a secret. The plans are a secret. There will be something for the Caves and Cliffs update when it is released, but what's being done is a secret." Now, immediately when I saw this, I got to thinking about what a Season 2 of the Dream SMP would really look like. Would it be a continuation of the plot from Season 1? Will there be more or different people, or even both? If they reset the entire seed, what will become of the plot? Now, before we get into that, I'd really appreciate it if you would consider liking and subscribing. I'm really close to 200 subs, and it is in fact free. My other socials will also be linked, so if you want to check out my Twitch, my Twitter, my Discord, my TikTok, I don't know, man. We'll get back to the video. Now, before I get into what I think will become of Season 2, I'd like to start off by giving the background of what you might have missed recently on the SMP. Warning, there will of course be spoilers to the events of the Dream SMP. I mean, duh. So, recently, Tommy and Wilbur realized that the majority of the SMP is actually on their side. Tommy and Quackity decided that they could raise the whole SMP to revolt and take L'Manberg back from Schlatt. Upon this announcement, Dream joined the server though, and announced that Schlatt gave him something, and that while he can't say what it is, he must defend Manberg now. Wilbur responded by saying that the entire server is still against Schlatt and Dream, and implies that the side of Pogtopia is still more likely to win, as they outnumber them greatly. They decide that they will have a war on the 16th of November, and that if Pogtopia does not succeed in their mission to take L'Manberg, Wilbur will blow everything up as he planned to do originally. Dream leaves them on the note that there is a traitor among them. Among Us joke. Funny. Topical. Now this leaves a lot of questions to be asked. What did Schlatt give Dream? Who is the traitor? And most importantly, to the potential Season 2, what happens to the plot after Tommy and Wilbur take back L'Manberg, or it goes ground up for good? Now, I've seen a lot of different theories about these questions. People saying that Schlatt gave Dream complete protection with George and Sapnap during the war, or he even gave him Tommy's discs. While these very well could be true, personally, I don't think they make enough sense to be the final deal. While George Sapnap and the discs are seemingly the only things that Dream, or shall I say Dream's SMP persona, care about in terms of plot, there is one thing that people seem to forget. From the beginning, Dream wanted power back, to keep L'Manberg from seceding from the Dream SMP. Now, for Schlatt to promise Dream L'Manberg back as a whole isn't viable at all. He can't guarantee that Pogtopia loses the war, and even if Pogtopia does lose, Dream knows that Wilbur plans to blow all of L'Manberg up, and Dream has stated he is totally okay with that. What I truly believe Dream wants is his power back. I believe that Schlatt has guaranteed the complete return of Dream SMP control, and that Dream knows that he wins his long-term battle in the SMP as long as Pogtopia loses the war, and Wilbur blows up all of Manberg. Now, onto the traitor. As much as it pains me to say, I think the traitor is Tubbo. Now, I've seen a lot of interesting theories on who will become the traitor of the SMP and why. I've seen ones that I believe to be far too obvious, such as Punk, Techno, people like that. Dream has stated that the traitor is going to be a shock, which, to me at least, rules out such people as possibilities, as they haven't really had strong emotional sidings with Pogtopia to begin with. I believe that it will be Tubbo because of the story arc that it would build for a second season. Above all, even above the discs and L'Manberg, Tubbo and Tommy's friendship has been what has been the most important thing for Tommy in the SMP. This betrayal leaves an even stronger character arc for Tommy to build upon, and a place for Tubbo to grow beyond just the so-called best friend character. I feel as this has been hinted at and built upon throughout the whole plot of the fall of L'Manberg, as it has been implied that Wilbur believed Tubbo to be a traitor, and Tommy to be the only one to have full trust in him during all of the festival. This creates a strong finish for the first season of the SMP, a plot to build off of. Now, the people in the SMP are very smart content creators, and they know that they cannot end the story of the SMP, because it's clearly what receives the most attention. To create a predictable traitor, or to leave the SMP in the same place it started off with, would be to create a lack of content. So, what do I think will happen on the 16th? I think that Pogtopia will lose, and here's why. If Tubbo's the traitor, which I do really think he is, then Tommy will probably be a bit lost and hurt, maybe unable to fight or complete the war plan, maybe even becoming a traitor of his own and joining Tubbo. Now, I believe Tommy will be the called upon leader for this war, as Wilbur has implied that he couldn't care less about whether they win or lose, and Tommy's really the only other person that's been with Pogtopia from the start. You guys have read history books. No war is won without a strong and decisive leader leading them. Without their leader, Pogtopia loses, and Wilbur blows up L'Manberg. In this scenario, Dream is back in complete control, leaving the story of the Dream SMP back where it began, in the hands of Dream himself. This all implies, however, that the Dream SMP's first season would end this week, which clearly does not fit with the timeline given by Puns, who implied the second season would come in 6 months when the Caves and Cliffs update releases. However, Dream never stated that this is where Season 2 would begin. Rather, he just implied that the Caves and Cliffs update would be implemented. This leads me to believe that the Dream SMP might not be divided into seasons at all, and maybe never even reset. Part of what makes the Dream SMP so iconic is the builds and the already existing items and pets that are important inside of it. To erase this would be to erase important plot pieces. However, it is possible to update a Minecraft world onto a new version, and the chunks that have not been explored will follow it as well. Instead of erasing plot points will be added with new terrain, mobs, items, and land. Now, I'm just one person, and I feel as though the best way to consider possible predictions is to get multiple opinions on it. So, I called my friend Animagician, because he is Future Man himself, to ask him what he thinks about all of this. Hi, Animagician.
Hello. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think Schlatt gave Dream
As the deal. So I've actually thought about this quite a bit. So I don't think it's items or any sort of loyalty pledge per se, because Wilbur and Tommy both have items for days. They have Techno, who got netherite in like 2 days. So again, Wilbur and Tommy, they have the items, they have the material stuff on the server. So that means Shalat definitely can give Dream something material, combined with the fact that Dream is basically the richest person on the server. That completely rules out stuff like netherite, completely rules out stuff like saying, I'll be on your side in the war, because obviously what is Schlatt going to do? He sucks at Minecraft, no offense to him. And he barely has any items. He can't really do anything material-wise. He can't do anything physically. So the only thing that he can do is not metaphysically, but like stuff in concept. So what do I mean by metaphysical? What I mean is like stuff that's not material, stuff that's not actively helping in game. So for example, when you're talking about L'Manberg, renaming L'Manberg back to Manberg, that's a metaphysical change that maybe Dream would have wanted, we don't know. But obviously, again, when Wilbur and Tommy, if they do manage to take back Manberg as it is now, that name change, all those aesthetic changes will just be gone completely. So the only way in which Dream gets an actual benefit from Schlatt is if Schlatt completely dissolves the idea of Manberg, if Schlatt blows up Manberg himself, or if Schlatt joins the Dream SMP while still a part of Manberg and incites another war with Wilbur on the behalf of Dream. As in, Dream is not forced to fight against Wilbur on behalf of the Dream SMP, and therefore gets the chance to take back L'Manberg or Manberg, however it stands, and therefore gets to consolidate his power. Because as Dream said in, I think, that same stream, he's only interested in conserving his own power. His own power comes from his land. The very fact that L'Manberg is not Dream's land is a huge source of, insult to him, basically, on the server. So a way in which he could get his land back is probably what Schlatt promised Dream.
Okay. Who do you think the traitor is?
Again, I've thought about this quite a bit. So, as I see it, there are only like 3 or 4 possible people inside Pogtopia who are traitors. Obviously, you have the whole Techno thing. Like Techno said on stream once, I think, that if that he joined just to be on the side that was against the world. So he saw Wilbur and Tommy against the world and decided, let's try to help them. But now that Pogtopia has so many people, it's very possible that Techno just wants to be on the losing team side, or the people who are the underdogs, and try to help them, because as we all know, he is one of the best Minecraft players on the server. Apart from that, Techno wants anarchy. Wilbur and Tommy are probably going to promote more of a peaceful return to how things were if they do get control over Manberg, especially since if Tommy's plan goes through, Wilbur's plan of blowing up the Manberg will not happen. There's not going to be that amount of chaos, that anarchy that Techno wants to happen. So since Schlatt could probably basically guarantee anarchy to Wilbur, there's a high possibility he's the traitor. Another really interesting traitor that I thought of could be actually Tubbo. Because if you think about it, Tubbo has been overshadowed by Tommy in every aspect of the word since he's been on the server. From his place in wars to what he does, Tommy is always logged on the server minutes before the war started and commandeered all of Tubbo's efforts that he's done for days and taken half the credit for them. And Tubbo might be sick of this, obviously in game, obviously not in real life. These are all characters I'm talking about. But Tubbo is probably sick of that. He wants out. In addition to this, Tubbo has always been overshadowed by Tommy on the server. It's always been Tommy and Tubbo. It's never been Tubbo on his own. And Tubbo could really use this to try and make his own name for himself on the server because he trusted Tommy. Tubbo has implicitly trusted Tommy for his entire time on the server. He trusted Tommy when Tommy said that Technoblade wouldn't hurt him. And what happened there? Technoblade murdered Tubbo in cold blood as a public spectacle in front of the entire server, and that could have been the straw which broke the camel's back and led to Tubbo becoming the traitor.
That's also interesting, because I thought of Tubbo for different reasons. So what do you think will happen on the 16th? Do you think Pogtopia will win? Do you think Manberg's going to get blown up?
Okay, if we're talking about, if we move aside the character development and the story and the lore for a second, fairly certain Wilbur's not going to let this 16th go by without something blowing up because he's been foreshadowing it for 2 months now? He's not going to let that happen. But if we talk about purely story, if we look at the team, I think we have Schlatt and Dream, and then I think maybe Puns on the side of Manberg, and then basically the rest of the server on the side of Pogtopia, except for George, Sapnap, I think Pong, and a few others, right? So Pogtopia definitely has the upper hand violence-wise, but the thing is, Dream has an ace up his sleeve. He's told them now that there's a traitor. He's told them that he will give Schlatt God Apple, Netherite, whatever they need to survive. And I know we don't say that Dream is creative, but if need be for the story, I think Dream will be willing to do that. Apart from that, I'm fairly certain that Pogtopia will win, but they'll sustain huge losses. They might accidentally blow up Manberg and also win the war, if that makes sense. You have, for example, Wilbur giving it all up and trying to go and blow stuff up, and Tommy having to go and stop him while Tubbo and everyone else wins the war. And then at the last second, Dream swoops in and kills Tommy, and Wilbur blows it all up without realizing they've won. Could make for a really cool story, but in my personal opinion, I think Manberg is going to get blown up. Wilbur is going to leave the server in an all dramatic fashion. Tommy is going to take over control of the server, and I think a lot of people's story arcs will come to a close. You might see Nikki and Fundy reconciling. You might see, I don't know, at the end of the Schlatt and Wilbur arc, you might see Tommy and Tubbo splitting ways or something like that. I think it'll be a pivotal point in the individual character arcs and the server character arc for every single member of the server.
And do you think there's a possibility for season 2 at all?
I mean, they've more hinted at it, but the hype around the Dream SMP stuff, which gets a random channel 1 million views, that has definitely gone now. I mean, the animatics is still flowing in like crazy. They're getting in higher and higher quality. But the hype on YouTube, at least, about the Dream SMP has definitely died down a considerable amount. It's still an amazingly popular SMP, don't get me wrong. The videos on the SMP get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views on a regular basis. So there could definitely be a season 2. It just depends on the standards of the members on the server, and if they want to keep, for want of a better word, milking the SMP for content, when they could be moving on to new, fresh, and different content, which could get them more views, A, and 2, could be something other than war preparation, war preparation, war preparation, with a dash of jokes thrown in between. So, yeah.
Thank you. In the end, none of us can really tell what the future of the Dream SMP will be. We can simply just make logic-based predictions. Think the fate of the SMP is in different hands? Write in the comments below what you think will happen. Also, please do make sure to check out my other socials linked and like this video if you enjoyed it. Also, check out Annie's channel. If you enjoyed this video, you'll definitely enjoy all the videos on his channel. This is what he does, and he's really good at it. Thank you for watching.